Okay, a short something on milk mixing or eating together milk and dairy. Lox and cream cheese, for example. Fish, milk and fish. I wrote dairy. Dairy with fish. Okay, so it says in the Shulchan Aruch, Pei Zayin Seif Gimel. The Shulchan Aruch clearly writes, it's mutter lechatchila to eat fish with milk. Right? Period. There's no reference to there being any problem whatsoever. However, the Beis Yosef writes in Pei Zayin, in the middle, under Dibar Maskal Dagim, Aval asur le'echol dagim im chalav mipnei sakana, as he writes by Orach Chaim. Kumash nisver b'Orach Chaim. So, I think it's in Kuf Ayin Gimel. So he writes, the Beis Yosef seems to say there's a sakana to have milk with fish. Okay. What makes this a little bit difficult is right here in Pei Zayin, he says it's mutter lechatchila to eat it, fish with milk, and if it be asur mipnei sakana, then he should have said so. That's one difficulty. Another one is in Beis Yosef, in the Beis Yosef, he says he references what he writes in Orach Chaim. Well, if you turn to the pages in Orach Chaim, it's discussing what? Meat with fish. There's no reference to milk with fish. Although it's difficult because he does mention the sakana issue in the siman, in the Beis Yosef, of fish with dairy. So it's, however you're going to read it, it is a little bit out of place. Okay. The other third issue, difficulty in this Beis Yosef, is that there is no other place anywhere in Shas, in Rishonim, anywhere else in the Beis Yosef or Shulchan Aruch where he mentions a sakana of milk and fish. So, because of this, the Shach Taz, the Chida, and others write the Ta'ut Sofer. When the Beis Yosef writes, you can't, it's a sakana of meat of dairy, with chalav, with fish. He actually, the original, what he actually did write, the original manuscript was basar b'chalav, not basar b'dagim, or not dagim b'chalav. Okay.
It was originally basar b'dagim.
It was basar b'dagim and not chalav b'dagim, something like that. So that's, anyways, it's a Ta'ut Sofer, that's what they all say. All right, those are both Ashkenazic and Sephardic sources. However, so therefore, it's clear, all Ashkenazi communities, as far as I know, they all have no problem having dairy with fish. However, many cream cheese and lox, no problem. There are many Sephardim who are makpid. So this Beis Yosef is the source. Rav Zevulun Lieberman, he said he saw an old manuscript. Again, I didn't see it, but he said he saw an old original manuscript, and it actually does say basar. There's no mention of the manuscript of the Beis Yosef. Again, I don't know how authoritative it was, but he was convinced. Now, the Knesset Agadola points out, even according to the Beis Yosef, there's no sakana with butter. The only problem is, so if you want to have your fish cooked with butter, they do that in some restaurants for people at home. It's not a problem for Sephardim according to the Knesset Agadola. And the only problem was with chalav and cheese, milk and cheese. Ben Ish Chai, if I remember correctly, says one should be machmer with fish and any dairy, including butter. Yechavadas, I believe, only says it by Rav Yosef regarding milk and cheese. Now, interesting enough, the Kaf HaChaim writes that it really depends on what the minhag is. Go see if people are eating fish with dairy and see if there's a sakana. He writes, in a place where everyone's eating it together and there's no sakana, he says it should be mutter. It says his is hachra, and so pretty much every place on the planet at this point, or most most cities, well, not, I won't say every, most cities or countries are in this category according to the Kaf HaChaim. Even nowadays where Sephardim live, there's usually going to be an Ashkenazi community. So that would be the psak of the Kaf HaChaim. And just to reference, which is also part of what the Kaf HaChaim is partially piggyback on, there's an interesting Magen Avraham in Kuf Ayin Gimel, where he says it's efshar that nowadays it's even mutter to have meat with fish. Meat with fish nowadays, because it seems like there is no sakana anymore. Right, we have certain things that over the time things change. Gilui, this and that is always what to be a machalik, different time period. It's something external that goes into the water. There is what to be machalik, but that's the simple reading of the Magen Avraham. If there would for sure be considered that there'd be no longer, it would be mutter. And so that's the psak of Hershey, that Meikar then it's mutter, but he himself does not mix meat and fish together. I'm sorry, no. He himself does not have meat and fish together. He keeps it separate, like the minhag.
Meat and fish or milk and fish?
The Magen Avraham and Rav Hershel Schachter is talking about meat and fish. But the general psak of all the poskim in general is that we're still makpi nowadays, and we'll get to that later.